Welcome to this month's meditation talk. Today we're going to speak about consciousness, both the expansion of it and the contraction of it in meditation. So the spiral depicts very beautifully the expansion of consciousness and the contraction of consciousness. The contraction of consciousness in Buddhism is referred to as the single-pointed mind state, and that is where our awareness is drawn completely to a single point in perfect stillness and is held there. Then there is the experience of expanding consciousness, and they have two very different effects with two very different types of meditation. So the expansion of consciousness is very simply the use of breath and or visualization combined with light to expand our awareness or the energy either around our minds, namely our mind energy, around our head, or to expand the aura generally or the consciousness generally. Now, I've mentioned visualization, breath, and light, but in truth, there are many tools that help us to expand our consciousness. Most meditations would bring about a state of expanded consciousness where we've moved beyond our normal waking reality, our normal waking consciousness. But the deliberate expansion of consciousness can bring us many things. Actual experiences of ourselves in a very expanded state, so either spiritually, maybe experiencing even self in the soul state, by the same token moving through the physical world in a way or form of expansion to, let's say, for example, experience yourself in space. So two very different forms of expansion, but nevertheless each valid. So these forms of expansion of consciousness, they help us to transcend our normal waking reality, as we mentioned. And the benefit of that to us in meditation is that we are then drawn away from the distractions that the body and the normal waking consciousness can often provide as it is uneasy with the process of meditation. So we literally expand our consciousness into an out-of-body state. We mentioned also the other form or way of working with consciousness in meditation, which is to bring ourselves to a single-pointed mind state. This can be in body or out of body, but essentially what it is the focus of the mind into a state of stillness where there is no distraction. And when we are versed in that form of meditation, a table could fall down right next to you and you wouldn't even blink. Your consciousness is so focused that nothing will move it. The tools that are often utilized for that type of meditation include Vipassana meditation, which encourages us to focus on sensation. In general terms, breath. Also forms of meditation like the use of mantras, yantras, etc., which we've shared in our previous meditative practices. This week's meditation is going to focus on expanding consciousness, and we're going to do it in two forms. The one is first to expand the mind energy, and then to expand ourselves beyond our human state. And I want you to have the experience of both. We have worked to some degree with the single-pointed mind state, which we utilized when we worked with mantras and yantras and some of the other tools. So we're going to do that together. But before we do that, I want to mention to you the benefit or what happens when we expand our mind energy, literally the energy that sits around the head. So the mind energy, when it is in its more contracted state, deals with the lower mind or the mundane mind. So it is concerned with things like thought process, what you're going to be doing tomorrow, what you need to do next, what so-and-so said, etc., etc. All the mundane nonsense of our daily existence. But when we start to expand the mind energy in a way that literally that energy becomes larger and larger around the head, we actually begin to engage the higher mind. And higher mind means higher consciousness. So it helps us to access greater levels of intuitive clarity. It slows or removes our awareness from the mundane aspects of thought and helps us to connect more strongly and more clearly with the higher mind, so to speak. Sorry, excuse the dogs barking in the background. I think they're agreeing. At least I'd like to believe they are. So basically the process that we're going to do together involves both forms of expansion, and I look forward to sharing them both with you. So thank you for listening, and I hope that you will join me now in meditation.